Good evening, fans, and welcome to another exciting Channel 60 sports presentation. Tonight, we're in Hawthorne, California at Hawthorne High School as the 2-0 Hawthorne Cougars take on the visiting Mater Dei Monarchs from Santa Ana with an overall record of 2-0 also. Mater Dei, of course, as you know, is the defending national champions, and the Cougars are ranked #1 in the South Bay, so this promises to be a very, very exciting matchup. As we prepare for tonight's telecast, it's our pleasure to have joining us Mr. Larry Reed, who's the assistant principal here at Hawthorne in charge of athletics, who's going to give us a little bit of an idea of what the mood this week has been as the team has prepared and the school, in fact, has prepared for this game. Larry.
Well, like you said, we've had electricity floating around this campus all week. The kids are up. That's all they're talking about around here. The staff, just everybody. It's fantastic. You know, we're getting to play one of the top teams in the nation, and we at Hawthorne feel we have a very quality program ourselves. 2 weeks ago, the Los Angeles Times came out with the top 10 programs in the last 10 years, and both these two programs were part of that top 10 rating. So, you know, we feel that we deserve a little credit ourselves.
Larry, let me ask you, what's the philosophy, the athletic department's philosophy in scheduling a team like Mater Dei? Most schools look for someone just a little bit easier to play to get their preseason started.
Well, we at Hawthorne High School, we feel we have, like I said, a quality program. We want to play quality people. You're not going to get any better by playing the inferior teams. We want to play the best.
What's been the mood of the players this week as they've prepared for the game?
Oh, they've been, their eyes are wide open. They're going around about 10 feet off the ground. They're ready to go tonight.
And, of course, this game closes out the preseason campaign, and you get into Bay League action. What sort of competition and what type of results do you expect this year in the Bay League?
Well, Bay League's going to be really tough. We've gone in the last couple of years to a format of an 8-team league. Peninsula, obviously, has a heck of a program. Inglewood, losing our rival, and you go right through the Torrance schools, and every week's going to be a battle. We've got to be up for them or we're in trouble.
Well, there you heard it, fans, from Mr. Larry Reed, assistant principal for athletics here at Hawthorne High School. He, like everyone else here in the crowd that you'll be seeing and the players on the field, are all expecting an exciting game. I know I am, along with my colleague Dan Simeon. And for the rest of us here at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60, we're going to look forward to bringing it to you this evening. And in just a moment, we'll be back with the opening coin toss right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. And the teams take the field. Mater Dei, having won the coin toss, has elected to receive. They'll be moving from the eastern goal toward the west, toward the ocean. Of course, the Cougars will be attempting to hold them out as they move in the opposite direction toward the mountains. We can expect an excellent game tonight, as everybody has. Kicking off, of course, is going to be Gabriel Torres for the Cougars. Fans, there's not much else that we can say except let's get it on. And there's the opening kickoff, and it's going to sail out of bounds, which means you'll have to re-kick. But while they prepare for the re-kick, it's a chance for us to tell you that there's going to be what we think is a lot of action tonight. Of course, the Cougars last year went down to Santa Ana, suffered a humbling 52-11 defeat, and this year they're seeking to exact some revenge here as they now have the Monarchs on their home field here at Hellcap, and boy, the crowd has really been anticipating this game. Dan, you and I were here about an hour and a half before a kickoff, and folks were starting to file in that early.
Well, I'll tell you, the buzz has just continued since 2 hours ago, really. Everybody really looking forward to this game. It's going to be a great contest. Mater Dei, certainly last year's champions, and Hawthorne, a game crew tonight.
Well, instead of a re-kick, Mater Dei gets the ball at their own 35-yard line, and we've got a first penalty of the game. Looks like it's going to be offsides against the Cougars. That's going to give the Monarchs another 5 yards. It'll make it 1st down and 5. We've just opened the contest. In fact, no time has elapsed on the clock yet, so we've still got a full 48 minutes of football to play tonight. Nick Stremick, of course, is the quarterback for the Monarchs. One of the interesting things that if you're on the Cougar coaching staff that you're waiting to see, and that's if Rod Perry is going to play. We'll get you the story about Rod Perry in just a moment. Opening play, to keep it on the ground. The running back breaks through the first line. However, he's brought down after a pickup of about 10 on the play. That's Joe Frame, number 14 for Mater Dei, as he takes it out over the 50-yard line in the Cougar territory at the Cougar 49. As I was going to say, Dan, we don't see Rod Perry yet. Perry's father coached last year for the Rams, and of course, when the Rams left town, he took a position with the Houston Oilers, and he had moved down to Houston. Just last week, Rod Perry transferred back to Mater Dei. Cougars line up with a double slot formation. However, they keep it on the ground. This is number 15 with the carry, and he's going to be stopped after a very short gain on the play. That's Brian Schley on the carry, and on the stop for the Cougars was Buck McCorvey.
Buck McCorvey had a great game 2 weeks ago. I wasn't able to make last week's game, but Buck McCorvey was all over the field last week at his outside linebacker position. We should see him have a great game tonight.
Let's talk about the officials for tonight's game. The referee, Bill Agopian. Umpire, Mike Lyles. Head linesman, John Hussey. Line judge is Brian Matthews, and the back judge is Greg Fucci. So it's a 2nd down and 8 for Mater Dei, and now we have another flag on the field.
I think this may be a too much time penalty. Both sides seem a little bit slow getting up to the ball so far. Again, it could be the Butterflies, but they will replay it, and it looks like we're going to go with 2nd down. No, actually, they won't mark it off.
Yeah, the officials wave the flag off. Gives us a chance to also tell you that the Monarchs are currently ranked number 2 behind Los Alamitos in the Orange County LA Times poll. And CIF Division I Southern Section poll, they're rated number 3. Here's a pass out in the flat, nearly intercepted by the Cougars. That was number 31 for the Cougars, who nearly made that interception, Sidney Lemieux, and that was a clean and clear 6 points, Dan, if he had kept his hands on that one.
Boy, I tell you, that pass, Sidney Lemieux had his hands on it, and you're right. He got that one. He would be on the way to the end zone untouched, 40 yards. Great play by Lemieux. Great play by the defense.
So far, the Cougar defense is holding strong. It's a 3rd down and 8. For Mater Dei, and of course, as any good football fan knows, 3rd down plays are the critical plays for your defense. This is where you need to make the stop. The quarterback drops back to pass, looks over the field, hits the middle, picks up his receiver who's got the 1st down and going for more, finally pushed out of bounds. That was Rod Frazier with the reception. They're pushed out by Malachi Uhai.
Rod Frazier, 6'3", 200. He's a tight end, senior for Mater Dei. He's their 3rd down receiver. He's made a lot of great catches, especially last year. And they found him in the middle in that zone. He went right about 10 yards down and then posted it and caught the pass for the 1st down.
So the Cougar defense gives up a big 3rd down play where they had him at 3rd and 8. Now it's 1st and 10 for Mater Dei inside the Cougar 25-yard line, at about the 24, let's say. It's a 1st and 10. We've got 10-15 left in the 1st quarter. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This time it's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Cougar defense playing very well. That was Mike Mcnair with the carry for Mater Dei. So, Dan, in the early going, it looks like the Cougar defense has got a bead on the Mater Dei running game. Passing game giving them just a little trouble.
Well, it looks that way. Malachi Uhai is all over the field, as well as Buck McCorvey, and so again, as you say, the passing game can be an interesting one because Mater Dei has some weapons, especially in the wide receiver.
Nick Stremick, of course, is a quarterback. Drops back to pass. Here's his pass over the middle, and it's complete. Touchdown, Mater Dei. That touchdown completed to, we don't see him in our program, number 6 of Mater Dei.
We don't have a number for him, and we'll find out who that is. That was a post pattern that quarterback Nick Stemrick passed to number 6. We think that may be Greg Madrid, but we're not sure. We don't have that number down.
Actually, it looked like, from what I was reading on the back of the jersey, it looked like Rod Perry.
Okay.
As we were just talking about, There's an extra point attempt up, and it's good. So with 9:31 left in the first quarter, Mater Dei on the opening drive of the game marches 65 yards for a touchdown, and they lead by a score of 7-0. As we prepare for the kickoff to the Hawthorne Cougars, we'll take a station break right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Back to live action now as the Cougars take the field and prepare to receive their first kickoff of the game. Dropping back in kickoff return position for them is number 5, Marcel Jameson, along with number 1, Kelvin Hunter. Jameson, of course, is a 5'9", 170-pound junior. Kelvin Hunter is a 5'11", 165-pound senior. And here's the kick. Looks like it's going to be taken by Kelvin Hunter down near his own goal line as he brings it out. He's got some blocking. Fumbles it, picks it back up, though, fumbles it again, but the back judge is going to call it down just outside the 20-yard line. Actually looks like he's going to be, about the 21, let's call it.
Heads-up play by Nick DeRico. He fell on that ball just in case it was still live.
Hawthorne's junior varsity last night went down to Santa Ana to play their junior varsity. Wasn't a successful outing for the young Cougars in terms of the score, but in terms of experience, I'm sure they gained a lot from it. Got a flag on the play as that's Kelvin Hunter, I believe. No, let's make it Marcel Jameson as he carries around the left side. On the stop for Mater Dei was Kevin Braga.
Running wide left as Jameson, they wanted to try to go outside on the first play. Looks like we got a procedure penalty against the Cougars, which will bring them back 5 yards, and they will replay the down, if in fact it's taken.
One of the things, fans, that we've talked about, and certainly that we've mentioned before in terms of Hawthorne scheduling the Mater Dei Monarchs and teams in that caliber, and that's Coach Dan Robbins, Dan Simeon, my colleague here, firmly believes that the only way you improve your program is by playing top-notch competition.
Yeah, and that's so true. It really is. Whenever you play a top-flight team, you're going to be sky high, and the players just bring it up another notch.
Latu keeps it himself, and he's going to be stopped for a very short gain. I'm not sure if that was a design play. Fortunately, no turnover on it.
Latu faked the handoff to Malachi Uhai to his left and then ran to the left of Omar Souf and was stopped for very little gain, and it will bring up a third down for the Cougars.
And the Cougars, of course, you should note, are having to get back their rhythm on the offense just a little bit, Dan. Last week, 6 starters had to sit out due to injuries, including their quarterback, Satiana Latu. So it's a 2nd down and 14 now for the Cougars. Latu drops back the pass, hits his receiver in the flat, makes a spin move, gets out of there, still way short of first down, make it a 3rd and long. That was David Gibson on the stop for Mater Dei.
Flat out pass to Malachi Uhai. Actually looked as he was catching it that he was going to be swarmed, but then kind of made a juke and swung around the defense, picked up a couple of yards, and sorry about the last play, but actually it was, this will be 3rd down now.
3rd and 7 for the Cougars. Ball spotted at the 20, let's call it the 26-yard line. Latu gives a handoff to number 5, and he's going to be stopped for no gain on the play. And, of course, number 5 for them is Marcel Jameson. In on the stop is Ryan Holland.
Tried to do a counter play with Marcel Jameson as he went from right to left, going in between the tackle and guard. Snuffed out by Mater Dei, and it will bring up a punting situation.
So the Cougars get very little offensive momentum on their first drive, and they're going to have to punt. Here's the punt. It's a low line drive. Doesn't look like it'll be returned. They've got a chance to let it roll. This is going to work in the Cougars' favor. Don't touch it, guys. Finally down at the 45-yard line of Mater Dei. So that's where they'll open their second drive. That was Randy Tucker, along with a host of other Cougars who provided good punt coverage on it. So the Cougar defense, once again, will be called on to hold out an explosive Mater Dei offense.
You got to watch that passing because, again, they've got a number of wide receivers. They've got 4 of them that are really very, very good. 2 of them are extremely fast. And, of course, the tight end can get open down the middle. They're going to have to watch that tonight in their man-to-man and zone coverages.
This time they run a double slot to the right side to keep it on the ground, however, and it's going to pick up, about 5 yards on the play. On the carry was number 35, Mike Mcnair. On the stop for the Olympians was Keith A.G. Makes it a 2nd down and 5 now.
McNair is a 6'1", 6'1" and 205. He's a sophomore, one of the few sophomores that start for Mater Dei, and here it is again. You'll see as he runs it the hole between the guard and tackle and is brought down there by Keith Agee and number 3, Herb Shedd.
Back to live action. Here's the quarterback rolling out, and he's going to be sacked. And in on that sack was a host of Cougars, led again by Keith A.G. That's the 2nd time we've called his name, and he's feeling pumped right now. That's going to make it a 3rd down and 10, should be, for the Monarchs. Once again, the critical 3rd down play coming up where the Cougar defense is going to have to stiffen right here and hold him, Dan.
Keith Agee, you're right. Keith Agee came in from the right side, but behind him was Buck McCorvey. Watch this. There's Keith Agee right there and just nails the quarterback, Nick Stemrick, as he was rolling out to his right. Great play.
Now we have a Mater Dei timeout taken on the field. We've got 4:54 left in the first quarter, and Mater Dei leads by a score of 7-0 here at Halcap Field against the Cougars of Hawthorne.
Got a good crowd here tonight. It's on the Mater Dei side and on the Hawthorne side. Again, this game has been a very, very highly thought of game, and we've got people from the LA Times tonight. We've got a lot of scouts here as well, as Mater Dei seems to bring out everybody when they play. And the band is into it, as you can see. It's just, it's great high school football at its finest.
And of course, fans, you know Channel 60 will always be there, whether it's Mater Dei or Inglewood or Lusinger or whomever the competition. We want to bring it to you right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. So watch us, won't you? Here's a 3rd down play for Mater Dei. They're looking for the pass. He's got a shot at it. The reception is made. It's made by number 3. He's going to be brought down. Once again, the Olympians give up the big 3rd down play. That was David Castleton with the catch for Mater Dei. Finally brought down by Malachi Uhai. And right now, Coach Robbins and the coaching staff at Hawthorne cannot be happy about the fact that they've had these guys twice in 3rd down situations, as we see here on the replay. Stemrick dropping back to pass. Finds his receiver, hits him in stride, and is finally brought down by Malachi Uhai along with Kelvin Hunter.
Castleton, a 6'2", 175 junior.
Makes it a 1st and 10 for Mater Dei now at about the 28-yard line. Once again, the running game stopped for little and no gain. That was Brian Schley on the carry. On the stop for the Cougars was Afi Fanoa.
Here we see it again. Afi Fanua, well, actually number 31, sorry about that, was Sidney Lemieux. And then Afi Fanua came in. Great first hit. And again, as you were saying, Rufus, the running game seems to be stymied.
Cougars playing excellent run defense. Unfortunately, we can't say the same about the passing defense, which is putting them into a bit of a pickle here with 3:47 left in the first quarter. 2nd down and long for Mater Dei. This time on the pitch back to the 2nd man in the backfield. He's going to be stopped after a very short gain of maybe 3-4 on the carry. That was Mike Mcnair with the carry. On the stop for the Cougars was Lawndale Maymont and Herb Shedd.
Well, again, the running game, they tried to go outside with Mcnair this time, and the Cougars weren't going to have it as Lawndale Maymont comes in and makes a great tackle along with number 3, Herb Shedd.
And that was one of the keys to the game, as reported by the Daily Breeze, Dan, was that although Mater Dei was a very good football team, they didn't have an established running game, and we're clearly seeing that as the Cougars have defended it very well. 3rd down and 5 now. Once again, they drop back to pass. Once again, the pass is complete. Brought down finally by number 1 of the Cougars, and of course that's Malachi Uhai, but not until after they picked up what would appear to be the 1st down.
Stimbrick rolling to his left, throwing against the grain, finds David Castleton with the pass, and then the ball is actually stripped, but he picks up the fumble, and it's still Mater Dei ball.
2:50 remaining in the first quarter. Mater Dei 1st and 10. Ball at the 10-yard line. So you're knocking on the door once again. And the Cougars are going to have to find an answer for this Mater Dei passing game. This time Mater Dei lines up in an I formation. They send man in motion. That's number 3, Castleton. Castleton goes out wide right. They keep it on the ground this time, and they're going to be stopped for a very short gain. On the carry was Byron Schley. On the stop for the Cougars was Sidney Lemieux.
Sidney Lemieux gets that head in there and makes a great tackle, as Schley was just going to try and go up the middle. Lemieux was there, stopped him. Again, they were just going straight up, power run.
And of course, Castleton, whose name we've called a couple of times tonight, has averaged about 17 yards per reception. He's also picked off 2 INTs on defense. It's a 2nd down and 9 now. Here's a pass, they drop back, thrown out in the corner, a fade, incomplete. He was there, though. Again, the defensive coverage was just a little bit weak.
Looks like he was throwing to Perry on that play, and again, the coverage by Robbie Hughes just over the outstretched arms. Here we see it as we see the pass. It's kind of an alley-oop pass to Perry. Just a little bit too far. He let him too far, and it's going to bring 3rd down.
3rd down and 9. You almost wish it was 2nd down, given the Cougars' success on 3rd down the last couple of times. I mean, they've stopped 1st and 2nd very effectively. 3rd down has been where they've had the trouble, Dan.
You got to watch out for the back pedal. Castleton is a big receiver especially down near the goal line.
I think you're going to have to start going into some double coverage. Here's a quarterback rolling out. There's the pass, broken up beautifully by Malachi Uhai. Finally, the defense on 3rd down bows up, Dan, and comes up with a big play.
Absolutely. Great play by Malachi. He actually knocked the ball down. Castleton was in motion, and he was going out to the right on a rollout. You'll see it here. There's Castleton going out to the right. He starts on a pattern going to the corner. Stimbrick throws the ball. He's being chased by the linebacker for Hawthorne, and Malachi just comes through in a great play.
Here's a field goal attempt by Mater Dei. The kick is up, and it's good. So Mater Dei, with 1:48 left in the first quarter, takes a 10-0 lead on the field goal by Mike Fishback. So you got to give the Cougars, Dan, a moral victory there. You got to, considering it was 1st and goal from the 10. They held them out.
They did. They really did. I'm going to tell you, I think that as it was progressing, as they got closer and closer, all of a sudden, the front wall held for the Cougars. They had, I think, a great goal there. 3 points they scored, but they didn't get in easily, and that's good.
So the Cougars find themselves down by a score of 10-0 here deep in the first quarter. We've got about 1:48 left. Still plenty of football and plenty of time for these guys to regroup and get back in this game, which all of us here as Cougar faithful believe that they will do before the night's over. Here's the kickoff. Looks like it's going to be taken by Kelvin Hunter, and it is. Hunter's out, and he's hit hard as he crosses the 20-yard line.
Great hit there by 14 for Mater Dei. That's Joe Frayne.
Hello, my name's Joe Frayne. Nice to meet you.
Joe Frayne is 5'8", and he looked like he was about 6'8" on that hit. 5'8", 165.
Satiana Latu brings the Cougars up to the line of scrimmage. In the backfield is Jamison and Uhai. Uhai the up back, Jamison the deep back. Out of the I formation, they send a man in motion, coming to the right side. They give it to the second man through, who's Marcel Jamison. He attempts to go around the left side. It's going to be stacked up for no gain on the play. In on the stop, David Castleton.
David Castleton, both ways. He's a outside linebacker as well as a running back. Here we see it, Jamison running to the left. Malachi just couldn't get that block going, and then here comes Castleton. Actually, Castleton, I believe, is a defensive back. I'm sorry.
Well, he was a tackler that time. Regardless of position, he got there, strung the play out, made his move, and got to Marcel Jamison. Makes it a 2nd down and 11 as the Cougars lost a yard on the play. This probably will be the last play of the first quarter, as we've got about 35 seconds left now. Cougars once again keeping it on the ground for very little gain, maybe a yard on the play. That was Malachi Uhai with the carry. On the stop was Ryan Holland.
Straight ahead blocking as they try to go up. Actually, the guard's back on that play, and Uhai was caught dead to rights by Ryan Holland.
Latu brings them up to the line of scrimmage. There are about 3 seconds left. Let's see if they get this play off, and I don't think they are, and they don't. Which the Cougars will gladly accept that as they will change directions, and we'll start the second quarter. As we conclude the first quarter, gives us an opportunity to take a station break here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. So we're back to live action here in the second quarter, just getting underway. First quarter ended there with Mater Dei taking a 10-0 lead. It could have been worse, but the Cougar defense, after having given up 2 big third down plays, and quite frankly, they had made those stops, the scoreboard would be a little bit different, I believe.
Well, the defense has been really playing great. They, again, held them on that last series and looked like the momentum was going their way.
Cougars have the ball, 3rd and 8 as we open the first quarter. They're now moving from west to east. They keep it on the ground. There's a flag on the play, which actually stopped the play, so this will be an interesting call. Let's see how this goes. They can call holding against the Cougars.
They tried a drop play to Jamison. Jamison got the ball on a late handoff. Unfortunately, there was a hold that looked like the left guard was holding on the play, but it's declined, and it will be 4th down.
Makes it a 4th and 8 now for the Cougars. Deep in their own territory, an obvious punting situation. Mater Dei brings their punting unit on the field. Dropping back to receive for them is number 22, as they send just one man back, and that's Dave Gibson. Here's a kick. It's up. A pretty decent kick, all things considered. Let's see if it takes a Cougar bounce. No, it doesn't. Takes a Mater Dei bounce. Wisely down by the Cougars at the 35-yard line. That was Nick Dierica, who climbed the ladder and killed that ball right there before it bounced any further toward their own goal.
Well, Nick did the center jump, and he may be going off with the basketball team now, but he saved at least 5 yards from that ball when he grabbed it out of the air.
Mater Dei, the Monarchs, is their mascot or their nickname. They have excellent field position now on their 3rd drive of the game because they're at the Cougar 35-yard line. Cougar defense once again will be called on to make the big stops, not just on 3rd, but on all 3 downs this time. Once again, the ball's on the ground. This time the running game breaks loose, picks up a 1st down as it goes down past the 25-yard line near the 20. It's going to be a 1st down for Mater Dei. That was Ryan Souza on the carry.
It's another running back. That was his first carry of the game, I believe. Watch it. You'll see it here. Ryan Souza going to the left, darts outside, misses a tackle there, and then runs for a few more yards. And a good run. Good gain by Mater Dei.
And Mr. Sousa may have earned himself another carry.
You're right. They've got a lot of people.
So it's a 1st and 10 for Mater Dei. Ball at the Cougar 20-yard line. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This time the Cougars stack up number 15, and of course we've called his name before. That's Byron Slay. So I think the new Monarch that ran the last time threw a little wrinkle at him and caught him off guard. Byron Slay, they recognized a little bit more, and they stopped him after a very short game.
Mater Dei seems to run a lot to their left, and again, that may be by design, certainly, but a lot of their plays have been running to the left. Let's watch that, especially with Keith Agee, if he lines up on the right side.
Going to have a Mater Dei timeout on the field now as it's a 2nd down and 10 for them. It's already been called. Now it looks like they don't want it, but the referee signaled for it, so they'll need to go ahead and take it as the Cougar coaching staff goes out on the field to give their guys some instructions.
Well, it's interesting. The Cougar players thought there was no timeout, and some of the water boys were going out to give them a little refreshment, and they were calling them back. So we're telling them to get off the field.
Well, I think what happened was that Mater Dei, after the timeout had been signaled, and they realized it was somebody on their side that called and said, "Whoa, wait a second, we don't want it." Referee say,
You
your
called
timeout.
You called it.
With 10 minutes, 7 seconds left in the first half. Mater Dei, of course, with a 10-0 lead, threatening again as they're down inside. Well, let's call it right at the Cougar 20-yard line. 2nd down and 10. Cougar defense once again being called on to be strong here, because you got to admit, this is not the kind of team you want to get too far behind.
Not really. You really don't. Castleton is lined up wide to the right. Watch him on a rollout. Stemrick has been liking him tonight.
Stemrick looks this way again, turns around. There's a flag on the play, and looks like they may call interference. Let's see which way it goes. This thing could go either way, although the betting money believes that it'll go against the Cougars, and if it does, it'll go against Brian Hill.
It was thrown in the secondary, Rufus, and that usually means that there's some kind of holding going on, defensive holding or some kind of interference.
And they call defensive holding against the Cougars, and that, of course, is going to give Mater Dei a 1st down. That's a 10-yard penalty. It's going to make it a 1st and 10 now from the 10-yard line for the Monarchs.
Second time they went to Castleton going to the corner on the right side. They tried that again on the other side of the field when they settled for the field goal. So, again, be careful. Castleton seems to be a dangerous guy when they get in the red zone.
We'll see if we can see if number 6 is Rod Perry, whom we believe it is. This time he comes to the right. They keep it on the ground, however. They're stringing out the play. They're going to bring him down. That was number 35 on the carry, Mike Mcnair, brought down by Malachi Uhai.
Malachi Uhai, but a terrific tackle on that play. He forced Mcnair to cut inside. He's outweighed with Mcnair running that ball. Watch, you'll see it here. Mcnair gets the ball, then comes outside. As he starts to run, hoping to gain some ground, a great tackle, open field tackle. Malachi Uhai, 5'9", 180. Great play.
Stemrick once again brings him up to the line of scrimmage. 1st down and 8. Should be 2nd and 8. They keep it on the ground. It's going to be stopped after a very short gain as they get it down near the 5-yard line. That was Byron Slay with the carry. Cougars come up with the ball. They say, hey, it's ours, isn't it? Referee says,
Well, the whistle was blown before the ball actually left the hands of the running back, Byron Schley.
Let me correct myself. That was a 1st down play, so it makes it a 2nd down and 5 now for the Monarchs. Now we're going to have an official stoppage of play. Looks like we've got an equipment problem with one of the Cougars that the official spotted, wants it taken care of, all in the interest of the safety of the players.
Ryan Seeley has replaced number 3, David Castleton, in the lineup. And it looks like we've got number 33 for the Cougars. That's David Salunga coming out of the game. And he'll be replaced by number 31, Sidney Lemieux.
And although the scoreboard shows 2nd and 5, as you can see from the placement of the ball, it's actually 2nd and goal because they're inside the 5 down near the 4. Once again, you see them keep it on the ground. Are they going to be able to hold them out? It's awfully close. No signal yet from the officials. Look like they're down at about the... Now we get the referee signal that it's a touchdown. It was a long time coming. That was Mike Mcnair with the touchdown for Mater Dei.
Mike Mcnair scores up the middle after they had Jeff Felix in motion. You'll see him go right up the middle. Number 35 for the Cougars, that's Keith Taofu, actually hit Mcnair, but he bounced off, and Mcnair scores the touchdown for Mater Dei.
Here's the extra point attempt coming up. Snap, kick, up, and it's good. So with 8:31 left in the first half, Mater Dei takes a 17-0 lead. And not only have they taken a 17-0 lead, Dan, they've taken this crowd out of the game just a little bit.
Well, that kind of took a little of the wind out of the sails. It's still early. There's 8 minutes and 31 seconds left here in the first half. Again, the running game seem to be getting moving for Mater Dei. Their line is big. They've got a big offensive line, and they're starting to open up some holes. So we'll just have to see how the defense fares, and also see how the offense can now move the ball, keep that defense off the field here in the first half.
As you say, although it's 17-0, the touchdown will put the Cougars, quite frankly, right back in this contest, and they're going to need to get something going offensively if they want to get the crowd back in it, and more importantly, if they want to build some confidence among themselves. Let's see if they can do it here on the kickoff, which is going to be taken by Kelvin Hunter. Hunter heads right up the middle of the field. He's going to be brought down at the 20-yard line where the Cougars will go on offense. 1st and 10.
Here's the touchdown again. We're going to see as number 35 just gets across, Mike Mcnair. Again, he's one of the few sophomores on this Mater Dei team, and they've got a lot of underclassmen from the standpoint that a lot of juniors that are on their roster.
Well, as they used to say about the old Oklahoma and Nebraska teams, they don't recruit, they just reload year after year.
That's it.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. Satiana Latu under center as a quarterback. They send Uhai in motion. They hand it off to Uhai. He's got some running room around the left side. If he can break through, maybe go. This is Malachi Uhai. Will they catch him? And he's brought down from behind, but not to left. He makes a big gain. That was number 22 on the stop, David Gibson. Uhai he was at his own 20. That's 30. That's 25 more with a 54-yard run for Malachi Uhai. Takes it down to the Mater Dei 26-yard line.
Let's see it. Here we see it again. Now watch. Latu's going to hand off as Uhai actually is set up as a slot back. He comes wide right and now cuts inside. That cut allows him to spring for more yardage, and it's a foot race. And number 22 catches him for Mater Dei.
Satiana Latu drops back the pass, throws it deep in the corner, and throws it out of everyone's reach, which actually isn't too bad because there was double coverage there on Herb Shedd.
Shedd was double covered, and actually it was probably just as well. Shedd covered by Ryan Holland was one of the individuals that was covering him, so it was a smart play.
And here comes the crowd back, Dan. I tell you, it just takes a big play. Right now, the Cougars, of course, needing to get on the board as they trail by a score of 17-0 with 7:22 left here in the first half, excuse me. They line up in an I formation. Once again, they send the man in motion. They keep it on the ground, handing it off to the second back through. That's Marcel Jamison, and he picks up near a first down.
Great blocking. Marcel Jamison goes right over right tackle. Again, it's straight ahead blocking by the Cougars. Here we see it again. That's just good blocking. And he picks up about 7 on the play, 6 on the play.
Could have been
Great
a late hit
execution.
called on, excuse me, Dan. Could have been a late hit called on the play as well. However, it wasn't, so we'll continue on. It's a 3rd down and 3 now for the Cougars.
I like the momentum. I like it.
Well, here's their chance on a 3rd down play. They're at the inside the 20 at about the 19. Latu keeps it himself, turns it upfield. He's going to pick up the first, I believe. It's going to be awfully close. Should be enough for the first down. Satiana Latu with a quarterback keeper. There was Byron Slay on the stop for Mater Dei. They give the signal, and it is a first down for the Cougars. Let's move the chains. Here you see Latu looking at the option, decides to tuck it under and turn it upfield himself. Takes the first hit, lowers his shoulder like a running back, and that actually is what allowed him to pick up that extra yard, Dan.
That sure is. They had a blitz. Ryan Holland was coming in on the blitz, and he just overran the play, and Latu made the first down. Great run.
From the markings, looks like they're at the 15-yard line, and they are 1st and 10. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This is Jamison. He's going to be hog tackled by number 76 along with number 45. That's Brandt Williams. First time we've called his name along with Ryan Hollins. And I don't need to tell you folks that Brandt Williams is a big 6'5", 255-pound senior. Rated the 5th best lineman in the nation, Dan.
Good. It must be the water down there. I don't know. It's got to be.
Again, when you play Mater Dei, you're stomping with the big dogs, as they say.
That's all right. Hawthorne got some big dogs, too.
All right, well, it's 2nd down and 12. Now from about the 17-yard line, they send Hunter in motion. They pitch back to Jamison. Jamison turns it up, but boy, there was a host of Monarchs there for him. Actually, I thought that he might would have thrown a pass on that play. Not that I'm calling the plays for the Cougars, but that's sort of what it looked like, and with the way they had converged on him, as you see it here, here's Jamison. You can see no place to go at that point. There are 5 guys there waiting on him.
5 guys there. Actually, it was going to look like 6 were going to come around, led by number 48, Zach Pricer. And Zach is a 5'11", 190. He's a senior.
Makes it a 3rd down and 12 for the Cougars now. Big 3rd down play for them. They're at the 17, need to get to the 5. Of course, they'd like to get in the end zone and put 6 points on the board. Let's see what they come up with here. They send U-High in motion to the left. He's going to turn it up at the slot as we expected. There's a pass. It's complete. Still on the ground. Let's see, is he going to get there? It's awfully close to a first down. Should be a 1st and goal for the Cougars at the 5-yard line. Herb Shedd, they make the big 3rd down play that Mater Dei converted successfully so many times in the 1st quarter.
Right over the middle, Herb Shedd comes across. That looked like a San Francisco 49er play. There's Latu.
Here you see on the replay, the Latu's crisp pass right there. Sherb hauls it in, keeps his feet, knows he has to get to the 5 for the first down, keeps digging, gets there. Excellent throw by Latu, excellent effort by Herb Shedd to pick up the first down and keep the drive alive. And now the Cougars are knocking at the door with 4:10 left in the first half. They've got a full backfield this time, Dan. They keep it on the ground. This looks like a score, and it is. On the carry, Marcel Jamison, and the Cougars get on the board. Here comes the crowd, Dan.
Here we go. Marcel Jamison, as he's done many times, we've seen it last year and this year, running wide, and he was untouched going into the end zone. You'll see it right here. Nice block thrown there by Malachi U-High, just enough to let Marcel Jamison just run untouched into the end zone.
And I think that one of the things that the Cougars have learned on this play with the extra point attempt coming up is that, by golly, these guys are human after all.
Absolutely.
Even if they do have their names on the back of their jerseys, and we don't.
They put their pants on the same way.
Snap is high, but the kick is up, and it's good. The all-important extra point made by Gabriel Torres. And so with 4:01 left in the first half, the Cougars scratch for 7. And they now trail only by a modest score of 17-7 to the Monarchs of Mater Dei. Good work, guys.
Great drive. That really was one of the best drives we've seen in the last couple of years for Hawthorne. And Again, they're outweighed on the defensive line, offensive line. Watch, you'll see this is the kick. Nope, I guess we missed it. But in any event, great drive. And the momentum has shifted a little bit here. Crowd's back into it, as you say. I think we got ourselves a game.
Cougars will be kicking off. And of course, Mater Dei will be moving from the east to the west, or excuse me, from the west to the east, I should say.
Cougar.
Gabriel Torres handling the kickoff duties as well. It should be. Actually, looks like Brian Gray, number 7, for the Cougars, is going to handle the kickoff. And real good kickoff. Cougars look like they're going to have coverage on it. The ball sails into the end zone. Excellent break for the Cougars. So Mater Dei will bring it out at the 20-yard line. That was number 6 for them, who I believe is Perry. Rod Perry, who mishandled the kickoff, let it get by him and go into the end zone for a touchback.
The interesting thing about that is that I believe he touched that ball. And if that ball stayed within the playing field, that's live.
So it's a 1st and 10 for Mater Dei with 4:01 left in the first half. Ball at their own 20-yard line.
This would be a great spot for the boys to dig in here and stop them on downs.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say, Dan. An excellent, excellent spot for them to do that. Well, here's Stemry. His backfield's in an I formation. He's got 2 wide outs. Nobody goes in motion. He gives it to the second, fakes to the second back through. There's his pass just off the fingertips of his intended receiver. And, of course, that was number 91, Rod Frazier.
Led Frazier a little bit too much as Frazier was running across. Actually, he was lined up left and then going out, but the pass was too far to his right.
Makes it a 2nd down and 10 now for Mater Dei. 3:57 left. Rudy Mejia comes on the field in a free safety position for the Cougars. And he's a deep back. They get past him, they're gone. They keep it on the ground, however. Mejia comes up to the line. It brings him down, but not until after they pick up the first down. Actually, it wasn't Mejia in on the stop. It was a couple of other Cougars led. That was Brian Slade with the carry. Cougars on the stop included Rodell Maymont.
Watch Slay, he comes in. He was going to go up the middle, then cuts outside. And we'll see Rodell Maymont right there pick him, make the tackle, but not before he picks up. Looks like that's a first down.
First and 10 for Mater Dei out over the 30-yard line at about the 31-yard line with 3:29 left in the first half. They're leading by a score of 17-7. Cougars still got a lot of field to give up, so let's hope they can make a defensive stop here. Stemrick drops back to pass his look, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for number 6, Rod Perry. Good defensive coverage there by Malachi Uhai for the Cougars, Dan.
Absolutely. Again, Perry just couldn't seem to get off. He doesn't look like he's able to go all out. I'm sure he's trying, but he just seems a step slower. He's a pretty fast kid, if I recall, and he just doesn't seem to be able to get that acceleration.
Well, he was certainly one of the Orange County Players of the Year. Caught over 1,500 yards in passing last year, I believe, 15, 16 touchdowns or so. And I can tell you, he is coming off of a stress fracture. There was some question as to whether or not he'd even play tonight. 2nd down and 10 now for Mater Dei. They keep it on the ground, and it's going to be met in the backfield. Excellent defensive coverage by the Olympians. That was number 45, Buck McCorvey, whose name we've called a couple of times tonight, who led the charge, Dan.
Buck McCorvey comes right in. Watch it. You'll see him. He just nails number 35,
Mcnair.
Mike Mcnair, and stops him for no gain. Great move by Buck McCorvey getting in there on the tackle.
3rd and 11. I'm scared, Dan. It's a 3rd down play. Gosh, I wish they only held Mater Dei to 2 downs and then they had to kick. These third downs have been a devil of a problem for the Cougars. Let's see if they can stop them this time, though, fans. They need to, because if they do, they've got a chance here. They're holding them. They still got a chance. Here's a pass. This thing is still a great defensive play by the Cougars. That was number 17 for the Cougars in on the stop, guys. Nathaniel Harrison, the 4th. Nathaniel, my hat's off to you as you broke up that pass intended for Rod Frazier, who took a couple of shots at it.
Watch this. Now, Stimmer's looking for number 91. Sees that he was covered briefly and then tries to go for him again. But Harrison is right there on the ball, gets his hand on it, and it was almost caught again by Rod Frazier. But great play, good defense by the Cougars. They stop him, and they're going to get the ball.
Mater Dei to punt here. Cougars put up some rush, but they'd rather return it. Oh, and he lets it go by. They make no play on it at all, and it's finally going to be stopped at about the, inside the 30 down, inside the 25. Let's call it the 22-yard line. The Cougars go on offense. Gave up 10 yards on that, Dan. We've got 2:13 left in the first half. Cougars have the ball. Mater Dei leads by a score of 17-7. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Well, they've got 2 minutes. It'd really be great to march down the field. Let's put 7 more in there and go into 17-14. The momentum would really be with the Cougars.
More than anything, though, right now, you don't want to give up the turnover there. You see Coach Dan Robbins getting down as close as he can to his offense and make sure those guys know exactly what to do. An interesting set of plays here. First play, they keep it on the ground. Looks like they're going to pick up, 2 or 3 on the carry. Nice conservative play. I think the main thing, that was U-High with the carry, but the main thing that Coach Robbins is concerned about is that, I'd like to move the ball, I'd like to pick up a score, but more importantly, I don't want to turn it over.
And you know something? They haven't. And last year, you remember, they turned the ball over 7 times, and it was scored on 5 times. Tonight, they haven't turned it over yet. They've been playing very careful ball.
2nd down and 8 for the Cougars. We're inside a minute and a half left in the first half, and it looks like we're going to have an offside against Mater Dei as their big left defensive end, number 76, came across. That was Brandt Williams.
6'6". He just stepped across the line, and that's got to be at least a size 12, a size 13.
Once he starts leaning forward, I think it's hard to bring that weight back down.
That's true.
But his error is the Cougars' benefit, as is a 2nd down and 4 now. They keep it on the ground once again. They're going to be stacked up, maybe for a loss of 1 on the play is going to make it a 3rd down and 5, should be.
Ryan Holland was first in on that hit there. Malachi Uhai tried to go up the middle. Holland was there along with a host of other Mater Dei Monarchs.
This timeout gives us an opportunity, gives me an opportunity to give a shout out to a couple of the young Cougars, as I mentioned, who yesterday played the junior varsity of the Monarchs. A couple of guys I was talking to before the game, they were pumped and excited and wanting varsity to make up for them and their defeat last night. And I'm talking about Kenny Green, Kaven Jackson, Quincy Drake, and David Happy Cook. Those are guys who are looking to move up in the program, Dan. Young Cougars, young Cubs, I guess.
There you go.
Who next year will be calling out their name right here at Hal Cap Field in Hawthorne, California.
I'm looking forward to calling Happy Cook. I like that name. Another thing, just as we're waiting here, this season for the Cougars is being dedicated to a couple of players, a number of players, actually 3, who played for Hawthorne. John and Ed Togia, they passed away in their native land. Unfortunately, they were on a mission, and this season is dedicated to those 2 players along with Gustavo Orozco. 3rd down and 3 for the Cougars. Latu drops back the pass, pulls it down, looks to turn up. It's going to be hard on him. He's going to be short on the first down, need to get out over the 30. Got just about to the 30-yard line, so the Cougars are going to need to kick it away here with 1:03 left in the first half. Did you see that block, though, by Malachi Uhai? I mean, he stepped back. Now watch this. Latu is looking. He knows he has nothing, so he's going to run out. He's athletic, and he looks like he's going to turn the corner. But watch Uhai. Boom! That's a great block on number 54. He had him lined up.
Also a heck of a pursuit, giving some credit to the modern-day defender. I mean, that was a pretty big guy, and he was running all out against a much shorter, much speedier fella. There's a punt by Gutierrez, fair catch signal for and made by Mater Dei at their own 42-yard line. That was number 22, Dave Gibson, on the fair catch. So we've got under a minute left in the first half. It'll be Mater Dei's ball, 1st and 10. If you're a Cougar fan and a Cougar player, you know the main thing now is to just hold them here. You didn't quite get out of it what you wanted, but you did burn some time off the clock, and now you just want to play good defense and go in and regroup at the half.
Mater Dei looks like they just want to run the clock out here.
It's their ball, 1st and 10. They send Castle in motion. He comes this way. Now he turns up. Stemmer drops back the pass, looks across the middle. They've got a chance to get a hold of him, and they do. They sack Stemrick. A loss of about 5 on the play. The Cougar defense rises to the task. We've got 43 seconds left. That was Katie Tiafu in on the stop. You'll see here on the replay, Stemrick with about a 5-step drop. Now he moves up in the pocket, and he moves right into the hands of the Cougar defender. And once again, you see the Cougars stopping the running game of Mater Dei as they have successfully all afternoon. That's Byron Schley with the carry.
Rodell Maymaw comes right in, meets him head on. That previous play, though, great pursuit by Afi Fanua. He was on the outside, didn't allow the quarterback Stemrick to go anywhere, and he actually snuffed that out for the tackle, which was made by number 35, Katie.
So it's going to be a 3rd down and 18 now for Mater Dei. We've got a timeout on the field. Score is 17-7 in favor of the Monarchs, although the Cougars, Dan, have a lot to be positive about right now.
Absolutely. They've played a very solid first half. There has not been a turnover. There hasn't been a turnover by either team, which is good. The execution has been great. They are outweighed, there's no question about it, and out-heightened a little bit here, but they've played a great first half, and I still think the momentum is with them.
And here's the all-important 3rd down play, and this time they drop a couple of guys way back. They've got one guy 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Here's a pass way over in the flat, and the reception is made, and there's a flag on the play. Looks like we may get a face mask here against U-High. Let's see, there's 16 seconds left. Ball's at the 35-yard line of the Cougars, and if that's a major face mask, that may tack on another 15 yards. Let's see.
Castleton, watch it right here. Big drop back by Stemrick. He throws. Castleton has been his guy. He was actually double covered. He had two Cougars, Randy Tucker and Malachi Uhai, who's the free safety. But unfortunately for the Cougars, that pass was completed. We've got a face mask penalty. They're going to tack it on. They've got to hold him here.
Boy, this is exactly what the Cougar coaching staff and the Cougar players didn't want to see happen. Ball's at the 18-yard line. They're just about 10 seconds left. This may be the last play of the first half. Here's a pass up in the corner. Incomplete. And that stops the clock with 8 seconds left. So Mater Dei will get yet another shot into the end zone. And these guys obviously showing the signs of being well coached. Knew with time running down, there's only one place you want to go.
That's right. Castleton again, as Castleton started to go inside, then ran to the corner. Seems like a bread and butter for these guys. When I say bread and butter, it seems like that's what they do when they get into the red zone, that they look for Castleton. So again, with U-High covering him, they've got a great guy out there that's doing that. But they're going to have to watch out for Castleton as a receiver. Seems to be their guy when they get close to the goal line.
It's going to be a 2nd and 10 now for the Monarchs.
Watch Perry wide right.
Stemrick looks left. Oh! Incomplete. Through the hands of the initial receiver, through the hands of Malachi Uhai, and through the 3rd set of hands of another receiver. That was Kevin Braga.
Well, I know my heart jumped on this one. Watch this pass. Now Stimrick is going to throw it. It's touched by Castleton. Castleton actually tips it. Number 8, Randy Tucker, tips it, and then finishes it off with Kevin Braga.
Here's a field goal attempt. No good. So the Cougar defense catches a break as the field goal attempt by Mater Dei is no good. So after one half, fans, in a very well-played game by both teams, particularly by the Cougars, although they trail right now by a score of 17-7, we've seen some exciting football, fans, and I want you to join us right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 at the top of the second half.
Yeah, that's what they like. They get that thing off fast. When he's running.
And we see the captains at midfield, and of course we know that the Cougars will receive to open the second half because they kicked off the open contest to Mater Dei, and they will be moving from the oceans to the mountains, or in other words, from west to east. Right now the Cougars trailing by a score of 17-7 at the half, although they played some very good defense, Dan, and with the exception of giving up a couple of big third down plays, man, this game would be a lot closer than the scoreboard indicates, and in fact, it really is a lot closer than the scoreboard indicates.
It certainly is, Rufus. Just some testament as to how well the defense is doing. They've held the running game for the Mater Dei Monarchs. Brian Schley has 19 yards on 7 carries, and Mike Mcnair, their fullback, has 22 yards on 6 carries. They've limited the passing to 5 of 14 for Strimrick and 102 yards. And so Mater Dei is used to rolling 200 yards passing in the first half. Their running backs have averaged almost over 300 yards a game. So great pursuit, great defensive play by the Cougars so far.
As a very good point that you mentioned, Dan. Of course, those stats are brought to us courtesy of our colleague, our third man in the booth, who doubles also as a print writer for the Lawndale Tribune, none other than a familiar voice here, Alex Manila. And Alex, thanks for all those fine statistics and the pregame information that Alex provides us with.
AM, you're the main man.
Well, we're all set. The Cougars are set. They're ready. You can see the intensity down on the field. You see some members of the JV and some of the coaching staff getting them pumped up. And here's the kickoff. Kickoff by Fishbecks. Going to be taken by Malachi Uhai. Uhai comes to the left side. He jukes a couple of guys still on his feet. Brings it out to the 30-yard line. So from their own 31, the Cougars will go on offense to open the second half. That was Kevin Kimworthy in on the stop for Mater Dei.
I feel good about this half. I really do. I think we're going to see some great football.
Excellent return by Uhai to give the Cougars pretty good field position at the 31-yard line. Sotiano Latu, number 9, brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Calvin Hunter goes out to the left. They run a double slot to the left now. There's a pass in the flat to number 3. The next reception is going to be brought down after a very short gain. That was Herb Shedd on the reception. Stop made by Joey Beasy for Mater Dei. So the Cougars still looking to go to the air. Of course, they had some success in the air as well as some success on the ground there in the first half, and they put up their 7 points on a very good drive. Here you're going to see on the replay, pass out in the flat to Shedd. Shedd turns upfield, catches a block. Not enough to spring him for the gain he was looking forward to, though.
Nick DeRico actually had a great block there, allowing Shedd to pick up a couple of yards.
2nd down and 8 for the Cougars now. We're just opened the second half. Here's the Erica in motion. They keep it on the ground this time. Looks like Malachi Uhai with the carry. Picks up about 5 on the play. Brings up a 3rd down for the Cougars now. David Castleton in on the stop, along with Ryan Holland for Mater Dei. Cougars would certainly love to open this second half, Dan, with a scoring drive here.
It really would. It would actually, a couple of first downs would be great as well. Keep that momentum going, coming out of halftime, and the score would be outstanding.
And I think probably one of the things that Coach Robbins said to the guys that look, we were only 10 down, but we hadn't given up a couple of big plays. This would be a different ball game. We can play with these guys.
Pull it.
Latu drops back the pass, sees this receiver, hits this receiver, first down. That was Nick Dierico with the reception for the Cougars.
Nice pass on a roll-out by Latu, and if we see this again, we're going to see a great block thrown in there by, as we watch it now, watch Latu. We've got number 2, Dierico, in motion. He's going to come out to the right side. Fakes the handoff to Malachi Uhai. Oh.
That was the prior play that set up the pass. And in fact, on that carry, that was Marcel Jameson. And again, it's Marcel Jameson. This time he's going to be stacked up in the backfield for a loss of 1, maybe 2 on the play. That was Ryan Holland once again in on the stop for Mater Dei. Cougar running game not having much success to open the second half here, but I think they're using the running game perhaps then to set up the passing game.
Sure looks that way. I believe this is going to be the pass that was for the first down, as you see. Nope, I'm sorry. It was the handoff to Malachi Uhai. Sorry, I'm not going to.
Latu keeps it himself, looks upfield. There's a crowd back there, and he's going to be brought down for another loss on the play, a loss of another yard or so. It's going to make it a 3rd and about 13 now for the Cougars. That was Ryan Holland. We've called his name on almost every defensive play here in the second half as we've got 9 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
Ryan Holland, 3 straight plays, 6 feet, 210, and he's got great pursuit. He's a senior, and a great pursuit as an inside linebacker for Mater Dei.
3rd down and 15 now for the Cougars. Ball at their own 46-yard line. It was at the 49-yard line of Mater Dei.
Watch for Herb Shedd.
Almost a passing situation by necessity. Dierico goes in motion to the left side. They fake the handoff. He keeps it. He's got some room. He's got a man. Oh! Kelvin Hunter had his hands on that. He had 6 points in front of him. Malachi Uhai, excuse me, and it slipped right away from him.
Well, I'll tell you, that pass could have been intercepted by number 22 for Mater Dei, David Gibson. David Gibson tipped it, and Malachi Uhai didn't expect it. He had that, he'd have been off. That's all right.
Here's the Cougar punt, and it's going to sail out of bounds. Looks like they're going to mark it up near the 40-yard line at about the 38 or so. So from their own 38, it'll be 1st and 10 for Mater Dei. So the Cougars now go on defense for the first time in the second half, knowing what they need to do, and it's real simple, fans. They need to stop this explosive Mater Dei defense and hold them just as they did in the first half. Here they keep it on the ground. They're going to pick up a big gain on the play. It's enough for a first down. Cougars arm tackling. That was Mike Mcnair with the carry.
Tried to strip the ball from McNair. Watch it here. You'll see. The handoff will go to McNair. Actually, I think we're going to be moving back on this.
At any rate, it's a 1st and 10 for the Monarchs at their own 49-yard line. They send the man in motion. They keep it on the ground. This time the Cougars smell it early, and they stop it after a very short game. That was Ryan Sousa with the carry for the Monarchs. Makes it a 2nd down and long for Mater Dei now.
Sousa made that carry for 16 yards, actually had the longest run from scrimmage for Mater Dei in the 2nd quarter. And we haven't seen him since that carry.
apologies to your fans. I was working off of an old Mater Dei program, and that was one of the reasons why I was miscalling some players' names. We've got that all straightened out now, and that shouldn't happen again. Here's Stemmick with the fake handoff. He's being chased. Nearly brought down. Gets a pass away, though, to Mcnair, it would appear. Mcnair picks up another first down. If that is, no, that was number 83 instead. And, of course, that's Ryan Seeley. That's going to be a first down for Mater Dei as they've got the ball now at the Cougar 30-yard line.
Stremick was being chased by Keith Agee as he was rolling out to the right. Agee just missed him, and Stremick completed that pass to Seeley for the first down.
First and 10 for Mater Dei now. They're on the march. Cougar defense needing a hold here. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This time the Cougars stop it for very little gain. That was Byron Slay with the carry for Mater Dei. On the stop for the Cougars was David Benalis. Or was that Rodell Maymott?
Number 31, Sidney Lemieux, comes out, and he's being replaced by Afi Fanu.
Stemrick brings him up to the line of scrimmage. He's got I formation in the backfield. Perry's coming toward the line, drops it back. We're going to have flags on the play. Let's see who's it against. The officials don't blow the play dead, and leads me to think, Dan, it may be against the Cougars, but let's see. I think that by the same token, we saw a lot of men in motion.
Afi Fanu, look at this. He wasn't even touched. I don't know. That looks like it may be a hold on number 58. Well, procedure penalty, and that's declined.
Hawthorne declines the penalty, leaves it at third down. We've got 5:48 left in the third quarter, fans. Ball's at the Cougar 35-yard line, but it's a 3rd and 15 for Mater Dei now.
This would be a nice place to hold. I'm sorry.
No, exactly, Dan. I mean, I think we both recognize the same thing, and this is where the Cougar defense has had trouble all night, and that's holding them on third down, and this is one of the most critical right here. That's Rod Perry over on this side. The offense still just a little bit out of sync, and now they've got to burn a timeout.
They didn't look like they were set up at all. In fact, they had the left tackle and left guard shifting over to the right. It just didn't seem like they were in sync at all. It's good news for the Cougars, as it looks like their defense again is stymieing Mater Dei, and that's good for the Cougars.
Well, also one of the confused players was Rod Perry, number 6. Perry was over on the left side here near us, headed back in the opposite direction, and the spot that he was going to, another receiver was in. All of a sudden he goes, geez, if he's there, where am I supposed to go? Stemrick recognizes that his offense is discombobulated, turns to the official and says, give me a timeout.
Well, again, it's certainly better to take the timeout as opposed to trying to run a play with really out any idea as to what you're going to do. For the Cougars, that would be nice, because that could be a turnover, which they could use very, very nicely.
This time Perry goes wide right. Castleton comes off the line in the slot with him. They play a double slot on the right side. There's a snap to Stemrick. He's looking, he throws. This is going to take some defensive coverage. They make the play. Back there on the play for the Cougars was Malachi Uhai along with Robbie Hughes. Double coverage, and I was about to call for it. That pass was intended. Let's see the replay here.
Rolls out. Stremick rolling out. He's going to go for Perry. But there comes Malachi Uhai, and a great play by Robbie Hughes to deflect that pass.
Excellent adjustment by the Cougar coaching staff. Brings up a punting situation now, so the Cougar defense holds Mater Dei on their first drive of the second half. They nearly get to the punt. Fair catch called for and made by number 3 for the Cougars. That's Herb Shedd right at about the 10-yard line. So the Cougars will be backed up deep in their own territory as they go on offense for the second time here in the third quarter, trailing by a score of 17-7. We've got 5:05 left, fans.
That punt was almost blocked by number 35, Katie. I like that. Great play.
The Cougars are just 2 or 3 offensive plays away, Dan, from being in this ball game. I think the defense has taken the measure of Mater Dei, and now it's up to the offense to move them. We're going to have a flag on the play, and let's see who this is going to go against.
We may have defense. It's number 76. Size 13 shoes. I think he lined up on us.
And once again, that's their All-American Williams, 6'6", 255, rated the number 5 lineman in the country. It's a break for the Cougars. It's a 1st and 5. Inside handoff goes to Marcel Jamison. Jamison's going to be brought down after a very short gain on the play. And that was Brandt Williams, who we were just talking about, who was in on the stop. They list him this year, and we'll see on the replay Williams coming across it. Man, when he gets a bear hug on you, that's it, baby.
That's certainly it, boy. They had a block running. Right guard was blocking him, but Williams is a big guy. That's a great pursuit.
So it's a 2nd down and 6, fans, for the Cougars at the 4.5-minute mark of the third quarter. Cougars really needing to pick up a 1st down here, and Latu keeps it himself, slips after he picks up maybe a yard or 2 on the play. It's going to make it a 3rd and 4, maybe 3rd and 3, depending on how generous the linesmen are.
Well, that play was by design. You saw Latu, he looked like he was going to hand off, and then he just went right around the guard and went upfield.
There you see Latu looking to the sideline, to the coaching staff for some instruction on which play they want to run. 3rd down, 4 for the Cougars. Latu rolls left. Latu looks up. The ball's batted up in the air. It's intercepted by Mater Dei. That's Castleton with the interception. There's a flag on the play. And he's going to be brought down at the 30-yard line or so, inside the 30 at about the 28. Latu's pass was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it became a free ball, Dan.
I think Brandt Williams got up there, 6'6". Let's take a look at it.
Here you see on the replay, Latu rolls left. He throws it, and it's tipped there. Well, he missed it, but we certainly see Castleton catching it right there, making the interception. Then he turns it upfield.
I think there may have been a clip on the return.
15-yard penalty takes a little bit of the sting out of that turnover. And that, of course, was the first turnover of the night for either team. Unfortunately, it had to go against the Cougars. It's going to give Mater Dei 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line of Hawthorne. Cougars here need to force a break for themselves now. Defense spending a lot of time on the field, though, Dan, and that's not good. That's what makes you prime for your opponent to score on you. And here you see them keeping it on the ground, and here you see the benefits to Mater Dei of the Cougar defense having to spend so much time on the field as they pick up the 1st down on a 20-yard run. That run by Mike Mcnair.
Mcnair just went around to his right as he follows Williams' block. Nice block on number 15 on Maymaw.
Sousa in the backfield now. You can see him, number 26, along with number 15 for them, and that's Byron Slay. Stemrick, of course, is a quarterback. Rod Perry over here on the left side. They keep it on the ground to Sousa. Sousa's got some running room. He hangs on tight as he picks up about 6 yards on the play. Brings up a 2nd down now for Mater Dei. We've got 2:30 left in the third quarter, with Mater Dei on the march, leading right now by a score of 17-7. That was Nathaniel Harrison, the 4th, in on the stop for the Cougars. And we thought that this modern day defensive line would wear down because they've got a couple of guys going both way, offensively and defensively on the line, but it looks like the Cougars right now are the ones who are wearing down. That's Mcnair with the carry. Mcnair gets in untouched from about 15 yards out. So Mater Dei extends their lead now to 23-7 over the Cougars.
Pitch out. He goes wide. Nice block on number 15. Again, that's Byron Schley on Nathaniel Harrison. Into the end zone goes Mcnair.
Here's the extra point attempt, the snap, the place, the kick is up, and it's good. That makes it 24-7 in favor of Mater Dei now with under 2 minutes left in the third quarter. The Cougar turnover coming back to haunt them as Mater Dei scores 7 points off the interception by Castleton of the Lawton pass that was batted by Williams, number 76 for Mater Dei.
Kind of took a page out of last year's book when the Cougars unfortunately had some turnovers and Mater Dei capitalized on them, which was really the story of last year's game. Unfortunately, Cougars are going to have to suck it up, hold on to the ball, see if they can get something moving to get back in this ball game with 1:54 left in the third quarter.
It's really an unfortunate thing for the Cougars in terms of the turnover. They gave Mater Dei such excellent field position. Of course, the defense had only been off the field for 3 plays. And the main thing, more than anything else, is the defense was, although it's early in the third quarter, again, it's just a little bit worn down. And that was evidenced by the fact that Mater Dei did so well with the running game, which the Cougars had stacked up all night. Here's the kickoff taken by Herb Shedd. Herb Shedd's got some running room, but he's going to be brought down out near the 30-yard line where the Cougars will go on offense again. That was David Gibson, amongst others, in on the stop for Mater Dei.
Cougars are going to need a good drive here, one that doesn't take up too much of the clock. We're almost finished with the third quarter, but something that they can sustain, get some first downs, get the confidence back again, start picking up some momentum.
And most importantly, give the defense a rest. It's Latu under center. It's 1st and 10. Latu on the, let's see, did he keep it himself? Yes, he did. Picks up about 2, maybe 3 on the carry. Brings up a second, and let's call it 2nd and 7. They're going to give him 4 on the play. That's a little generosity by the home field.
Never argue with the home umpire.
Latu this time hands it off. And that's Marcel Jameson. Here comes a flag on the play. Looks like it may be a face mask. Not sure.
Watch this play. Great pitch out, but Rick Hewiston snuffed this one out and then gets as a bevy of mankind from Mater Dei on the tackle, but there's a penalty, and that's good news for the Cougars.
And they're marking it off against Mater Dei. It looks like it's going to be a 15-yard.
Big one.
Boy, this is certainly going to help the Cougar cause. 1st and 10 for the Cougars on the penalty against Mater Dei. Ball's at the 31-yard line or so. Latu on the pitch back to Jameson. Jameson turns it up, going nowhere. And you're seeing several Mater Dei tackles. That time, number 22 for Mater Dei, David Gibson, that was borderline late, quite frankly. Official elected not to make the call, but that was awfully close, Dan.
Yes, it was. It looks like Mater Dei now wants to try and rev it up a little bit here as they've got a 24-7 lead. Again, that's fine, but watch out for the penalties.
Well, you're starting to see the size and strength and power of the Mater Dei team eat away at the Cougars just a little bit. It's now we've got an official stoppage of play. That's the end of the third quarter. I'm sorry, I'm so into the action on the field. I'm wondering, hey, what's going on here? Why'd the guy stop it? Well, he stopped it because that's 3 quarters of play, fans. And after 3 quarters, the visiting Monarchs of Mater Dei are leading the homestanding Cougars by a score of 24-7. We aren't going anywhere. No one in the crowd is left yet, and I want you to stay right here because there's still an exciting 4th quarter to come here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60, fans. As Mater Dei leading by a score of 24-7. However, Cougars have possession of the ball. It's a 2nd down and 12. They're at their own 30-yard line, desperately in need of a drive here and a quick score, quite frankly.
Absolutely. They need something pretty quick. Be able to get some first downs, but get in the end zone.
Because you start to run out of options as it gets. Oh, here's another interception by Latu. This interception, number 46 has some room. That's Kevin Braga. He may return this all the way, and he does. You've got a touchdown, Mater Dei, and that's going to make it 31-0. That's 14 points scored by Mater Dei here, Dan, on 2 turnovers. Both of their scores here in the second half have come on Hawthorne turnovers, and this is very unfortunate for the Cougar effort right now.
That's a tough one. Watch this. Latu is going to go. He's looking left all the way for number 8, which is Randy Tucker, but stepping in front of Randy Tucker, number 46. That's Kevin Braga. Braga starts going. He's got Mankind in front of him. Nice block there by number 39. That's Brian Manbuzian. And Braga goes into the end zone for the touchdown. Tough break.
Extra point attempt by Mater Dei is good, so in just 11 seconds here in the third quarter, they get on the board, and they now lead by a score of 31-7, and that has dug a mighty, mighty deep hole for the Cougar effort tonight, Dan.
Well, it is. Again, the turnovers. This half was unfortunate turnovers here in the second half. 14 points. Starting to look a little bit like last year, unfortunately. And now the Cougars find themselves 24 points down.
And now with the score 31-7, I have to reverse that and say it's not as close as it looks.
That's true. Well, again, Cougars will need to suck it up.
Marcel Jameson and Herb Shedd back to receive for the Cougars.
I'm impressed with this kicker from Mater Dei. He really boots that ball. A tremendous lift on his point afters.
14 gift points here in the second half for Mater Dei has extended their lead to 31-7. And taking off his feet is Marcel Jameson, and he was taken down by Kevin Kenworthy. Down, excellent special teams play. The crowd still trying to give the Cougars a spark here, but as you see them walk off the field, Dan, as I'm looking at a couple of players, you can see just a little bit of enthusiasm having floated away.
That's true. Cougars are a tough ball club, and Coach Robbins has told both you and I he is so impressed with the heart of this team, and they'll just keep going. Then they won't let the tank run out.
Latu still in at quarterback. Marcel Jameson in the backfield with him. He throws a pass out in the flat to Herb Shedd. And Shedd's going to be stacked up for no gain on the play. The Mater Dei defense starting to really buckle down and sort things out in terms of what the Cougars are running offensively. That was Brian Manabusin on the play, and it looks like they're reading the Cougar playbook right now.
Here we go. Yep, just out in the flat to number 3, Herb Shedd, and Manabusin, along with a host of Mater Dei defensive players. So you see Dan Robbins.
Second down and 11 for the Cougars. Once again, they keep it on the ground. This is Jameson, and he picks up, maybe 5 yards on the carry.
Sorry, sir.
Go ahead, Dan.
Trying to follow the block of Rodell Maymar, as Maymar had number 15. That's Byron Schley. A couple of yards picked up by Jameson. I'm a little surprised about the running, though, at this point in the game.
I mean, as we look around the field here, I'm looking over in the far western end zone, and you find most schools coming here in old raggedy yellow school buses. Again, you're looking at a school that comes in 3 rented long limo buses, that they've got parked here inside Halcap Field. 3rd down and 6 for the Cougars. Here's a pass in the flat. It's complete. Let's see if it'll be enough for the 1st down. It's going to be awfully close. And from the spot of the ball, it looks like it may be a 1st down for the Cougars.
Again, running against the grain. Latu, we'll see it. Here he is again, going to Nick DeRico. This connected for a 1st down in the 1st quarter. And it looks like it's going to connect again for 1st down. Good play for the Cougars as they dodge another bullet. Those buses look better than Greyhound.
I know. Cougars trailing by a score of 31-7. We've got 9:25 left. However, they pick up the 1st down on the move, looking to scratch on the board again. And now we're going to have movement on the Cougar offensive line. That appeared to be number 73 for the Cougars. And, of course, that's Jorge Camacho.
Just a little bit over anxious on that play, Jorge. Let's get him again.
Penalty makes it a 1st and 15 for the Cougars now.
Jorge Camacho is 6'2", 250, and he is a sophomore, so he's got a couple of years ahead of him.
Here's Latu once again. They keep it on the ground. They're going to pick up a few yards on the carry. It's going to bring up a 3rd down now, I believe, for 2nd down for the Cougars.
Brian Gutierrez is now in the game for the Cougars, as he is now in the backfield. I want to see if Malachi Uhai is all right. He came off the field and was replaced. Actually, no, I'm trying to find him if he's actually sitting on the bench.
Latu drops back to pass, loops it up in the air. This is just off the hands of his intended receiver. And that was intended for Robbie Hughes.
I'll tell you, he had that pass. Hughes actually was going to look like he was going to catch that pass. But just in the last minute, watch it. You'll see it here. Latu just throwing this ball, and Hughes was going to run under it. But in the last second, unfortunately, hit the helmet. And he may have lost that in the lights.
And one of the things that we noticed last week, Dan, in covering and losing the game, and we see it here again tonight, is that these guys have a tendency to loop that ball. And the downside to that is that you should give the defender a lot of time to get there, because the ball hangs up in the air a very long time. 3rd down 11 now for the Cougars. We've got 8:20 left in the contest. Latu drops back to pass. This was a little flatter, incomplete nonetheless, intended for Robbie Hughes to bring up a punting situation for the Cougars as hope and opportunity start to fade just a little bit on the Cougar effort tonight. We've got 8:18 left in the contest, with the Cougars trailing by a score of 31-7. Here's the punt attempt coming up, and that's Gabriel Torres, who's handling the punting. Somewhat of a short punt. Takes a Cougar bounce, going to be downed at the 49-yard line by Randy Tucker. So at the Cougar 49 with 8:11 left in the contest, Mater Dei goes on offense again. Cougars now, Dan, looking to make some moral victories here. Defense needing to make a stand to keep it respectable.
Absolutely. I think the thing is that certainly making a stand here would be good for a kind of a morale booster, good for the confidence. But the defense has played very well. And unfortunately, the turnovers, those quick turnovers, just was unfortunate here in the second half. But the defense has been playing a stellar game.
1st and 10 for Mater Dei. Stemrick still under center at the quarterback. He hands off to number 15, who breaks the first couple of tackles. He's still on his feet. He picks up the first down as he picks up about 14 yards. Finally brought down by David Salunga, but not until Brian Schley had picked up. Well, they're going to give him a gain of about 12 on the carry. It's enough for a first down nonetheless, as now they move the ball another 3 yards. So it'll go back to the 15 yards that I called initially. First and 10, ball at the 36-yard line. Stemrick pitches back to the second back through. That's Mcnair. McNair is tripped up on an excellent shoestring tackle by number 31 for the Cougars, Sidney Lemieux. And that stopped a potentially big game, Dan. Here we're going to see on the replay the pitch back to McNair. Lemieux slips through, dives for the legs, and gets just enough to knock him off stride and knock him down.
Well, Byron Schley had a great block there and knocked the contained man. And if Lemieux did not get the feed of the running back, he would have been off to the races.
Gives us an opportunity to tell you fans that next week Channel 60 Sports will be back here at Hawthorne as the Cougars take on the Totters of North Torrance High. They line up in I formation. Stemrick drops back the pass, looking for the second man through. Harris passes up and there. It's going to be intercepted. Looks like by Shed. Shed's got some running room. He's got a couple men in the boot. He's on his way. He's got a couple of blockers. He's cutting back across, still on his feet. And he's finally going to be brought down at about the 40-yard line. That was Herb Shedd, number 3, with the interception, and that gives the crowd a spark, and it gives the Cougars a spark.
Crowd gets back into it. You see it. Stemrick is going to go deep. He's looking again down the right side. Ball is tipped.
Pass tipped by Nathaniel Harrison, the 4th. Falls into Herb Shedd's hand, and Herb gets a couple of good blocks as he heads up the near sideline. Gets a little bit of traffic, tries to cut it back through, and by then there's just too much traffic there, and he's finally brought down. But nonetheless, an excellent interception, an excellent return by Herb Shedd. Gives the Cougars the ball with 6:10 left in the contest at the 35-yard line, of Mater Dei, and actually they're going to spot it would appear from the position of the officials at about the 30-yard line. That's Castleton, who's being helped off the field, going off under his own power, so it looks like he's going to be okay, and that's good for us to see.
He took a shot at the ribs on that interception return. Morale booster, great play by Herb Shedd.
First and 10 for the Cougars from the 30-yard line of Mater Dei. That's Mater Dei's first turnover of the night. Latu turning left, looks upfield pass. One hops intended for, looks like number 8. Number 8, of course, as all the fans know, is Randy Tucker.
Anthony Avila for Mater Dei was in the face of Latu as he tried to make that pass, and actually may have hit his arm as he was going through in the follow-through and that resulted in the pass being a little short.
Part of the cheering squad there for the Olympians on your screen as we now go back to the more important item of football.
There you go. Cheering squad.
Well, they've certainly kept the crowd in the game tonight, Dan, and now it's up to the Cougar offense to get them even more in the game. We've got 5:56 left. It's a 2nd down and 10 for the Cougars. Here's Uhai with the carry, and he's going to be stopped again as he gets to the line of scrimmage. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 10 for the Cougars now.
They tried that again as Uhai was in the slot. We'll see it. He was a slot back, but there was a block there. Number 75 for the Cougars. That's Juan Acosta. Had his man blocking out, and there was a small hole there, but Uhai cut in and picked up a yard.
And more importantly, Dan, I'm glad to see that he doesn't appear to be injured, because, boy, he sure went down in an awkward position.
He sure did. Looked like a shoulder.
5:16 left in the contest, 31-7 in favor of Mater Dei. Big 3rd down play for the Cougars here. They're at the Mater Dei 30-yard line. This is almost a 4-down situation for him now. Latu still with the ball. Latu loses 5 yards on the play. He's going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage by Mike Mcnair.
He plays both ways. He's everywhere.
I think what you'll see here, Dan, is the Cougars going for it. There are not a whole lot of options left when you're trailing by 24. Here you see on the replay.
Look like a blitz.
Latu dropped back the pass, never really had enough time to set up as his offensive line collapsed around him, giving the Monarchs of Mater Dei virtually a clear shot at him. And the Cougars do go for it on 4th down. Latu drops back the pass. He's got to get rid of it soon, and he doesn't. And he's going to be dropped for a loss of another 5, but more importantly, the Cougars are going to lose it on downs, as that was Mcnair in on the stop again. So the Cougars forced the turnover to get it at their own 30-yard line. They go in reverse. You're going to see here on the replay a missed block there by Marcel Jamison, for one thing, allows the left defensive end to bear down on Latu and finally bring him down for the sack.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Mcnair was actually cut down, and he got back up and tackled Latu behind the line. So you've got to give your hat off to that young man to continue the play. He's again played a great game offensively and defensively tonight for the Monarchs.
Well, I think the Cougars, and here it is, a 1st down for Mater Dei, and I'll come back to that point in just a moment. They keep it on the ground. It's going to be stopped after a very short game. But what I was going to say, Dan, with 3:41 left and the Cougars trailing by 24 points on a 31-7 score, Cougars basically had 2 objectives coming in. Objective number 1 was to win the game. And looked like they're going to fulfill that objective. But objective number 2 was to give the guys some experience against top-flight competition and let them get a feel for what it's like, because in a couple of weeks you're going to be playing the Peninsulas and the Losingers and the other good teams in the Bay League. And this kind of experience, although it's a losing one, certainly helps out your long-term effort.
That's a good point. Really is a good point. And as long as the guys remember that, not hang their heads too much, they played a great game. They certainly outweighed and a little out-heightened, I think, but it was a tremendous effort. Great heart.
Here you see on the replay, Mater Dei with the ball on the ground. Excellent defensive coverage by the Olympians, led by number 55, Lawndale Maymott, in on the stop. And I will tell you that I don't think that the Cougar players will be too disappointed. Yes, there's a disappointment in losing, as it is for any athlete, but they realized that they were going against a top-flight team from a top-flight program. Everything's first class in Mater Dei. These guys, I mean, they get the best athletes, you know, because I mean, this is like playing a junior college. So they have nothing to be ashamed in terms of the effort. It didn't turn out the way they wanted.
Not at all. They played a great game tonight.
Here's a pass intended for Castleton, incomplete, thrown by Stemrick. We've got 2:12 left in the contest. It's going to bring up a indication as it's a 4th down, a 4th and 5 for a Mater Dei.
That's another indication, just right there. That play there, the pass to Castleton. Randy Tucker came in, stuck him with a hit. The play was not whistled dead yet. So again, Hawthorne continuing to just keep playing and going all out.
Here's the Mater Dei punt. And it's going to take a Cougar bounce, it appears, as it'll be downed at about the 30-yard line. So with 2:03 left in the contest, Cougars trailing by a score of 31-7. It's their ball. Let's see if they can punch one in before we turn the lights out tonight, fans.
Again, you bring up a good point, Rufus, about the fact that Hawthorne is playing, again, a top-flight team. I mean, Mater Dei is I mean, it's a junior college club. The other thing is that they've got a lot of players, but Hawthorne plays a gritty ball game. This will be a great test for them for the Bay League. They've got some great games coming up. This will stand them in good stead.
Of course, all the Cougar kids are homegrown right here in the Hawthorne area. Here's a pass out in the flat taken by Nick DeRica, and it's completed. It's going to be good for about 6 yards on the play, make it a 2nd down and 4 for the Cougars.
And you know Dan Robbins wants the guys to keep executing, which they're doing. The plays they want to keep running those plays as if the game was tied.
Exactly. Exactly. There's certainly no quitting these Cougars, and of course we're going to look forward to seeing them again right here next week on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60 fans as the Cougars take on North Torrance High here at Halcap Field. 2nd down and 6 for the Cougars. Once again, they keep it on the ground. On the carry is number 12, and that's Milton Gutierrez. It's going to make it a 2nd down and short for the Cougars now. Going to have a timeout on the field. That was Zach Pricer, I'm being told, in on the stop. We've got 1:18 left in the contest. Gives me an opportunity to remind you that these broadcasts are the exclusive property of Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Any rebroadcast or retelecast without the express written permission of Channel 60 is strictly forbidden.
You know, I just wanted, there's one of our crack camera guys. There he is, sticking his tongue out. We're going to have to get him later. Terrific job by all the guys tonight. Again, led by Uncle Mike. He does it every game. It's just a great job. Him and Tom Strickfadden do a tremendous job. Mike Galarza, our director. Again, great job, guys. You make it so easy for Rufus and I to sit here and really enjoy the game.
And I think one of the things we can say tonight, Dan, is we don't have to worry about the old rebroadcast requirement or reproduction requirement. I don't think you'll find many people making a copy of this one.
That's true.
3rd down and 2 now for the Cougars. Here's a pitch back to Jamison. Jamison picks up the 1st down and then some as he moves out across midfield. 1st down for the Cougars. Clock stops with 1:10 left.
See him run though. I mean, he was accelerating as if the game was tied. That's good to see. Keep going, keep focused, keep concentrating. It's only going to help as the games move, as the season moves along, as they start getting into the tough Bay League schedule.
Well, they spot the ball at the 44-yard line. It's a 1st down for the Cougars nonetheless. From our vantage point, looked like he picked up considerably more yardage, but Cougars will take that. Here's a pass. It's going to be intercepted, then dropped. Interception was made, or at least the interception attempt was made by number 46. That was Kevin Braga, which would have been his 2nd interception. His last interception, he returned for a touchdown. Of course, as you know, unfortunately for the Cougar effort, he dropped it. Makes it a 2nd down and 10 now for the Cougars from their own 44-yard line with just over a minute left in tonight's contest.
Cougars are still number 1. Absolutely.
This will drop their record to 2-1, and it'll raise Mater Dei's record to 3-0. So the Cougars, nonetheless, 2-1 in the preseason. You have to consider that a success. There's a pass out in the flat. It's going to be taken and by Nick DeRico, and he gets out this time to midfield, I believe. In fact, he crosses midfield, gets down to the 47-yard line. We've got 1 minute left in the contest, fans. 31-7 in favor of the visiting Mater Dei Monarchs.
Nick DeRico, he's played a great game tonight. 5'10", 170 pounds. He's a senior. This is his last year for the Cougars. A lot of heart in that young man. A lot of heart in all these Cougars. They've, I'm very impressed with their play tonight.
Oh, without a doubt, without a doubt. You have to give it to them. I mean, there were two. You look at 31 points on the board, you got to realize that 14 of those came on 2 second-half turnovers, 2 interceptions thrown by Latu. Or you're looking at, again, a much closer game. Marcel Jamison driven out of bounds after a very short gain. That was Elliott Richardson. As you see now, Mater Dei starting to play some of their 2nd and 3rd teamers.
Elliott Richardson, remember him? He was Secretary of
Defense or something like that.
Boy, that takes me back.
Talk about Back to the Future. Now he's gone all the way back. Here he is playing high school football in Southern California.
Elliott Richardson. Yeah. Oh, that's a name. All we have to see is Dick Nixon. He made it.
I know.
God. You play Whittier?
Yeah. You're going to bring out the chains for a measurement here. We've got 53 seconds left in the contest.
Well, that's good. I mean, they haven't actually come out tonight. They need to get some exercise. I mean, they should.
Let's see if we can see the spot on the measurement. From here, it looks like it's going to be a little short. Looks like it's going to be fourth, gosh, and about a foot, if that much.
Fourth and an RCH. You know, just wanted to mention Dale Craig and Tony Meinhardt were very, very helpful to us tonight in terms of providing us with starting lineups and information as well. Dale is a fixture here at Hawthorne. Been here for a long, long time. Crack statistician, has done some of the games here on Community Cable 60. So thank you both, gentlemen, for helping us out tonight.
And in comparison to some of the other locations we work at, we're particularly thankful for the nice facilities provided here by the folks at Hawthorne High School. Makes our job a whole lot easier.
Ooh.
There you see a stop on the 4th and 1. Mater Dei will take over on downs now. Cougars have 4th and an inch. That's a bit of a downer to go home with, but once again, it's been typical of the Cougars' second half effort here tonight, coming up just a little bit short each and every time.
All-out blitz, actually, as they came in, replacing some players now, but number 45 for Mater Dei came in there. That's Ryan Holland. He's been all over the field tonight.
Well, and a bit of a surprise with under 40 seconds left. They bring their starting quarterback Stemmer back in on the field. He takes him up to the line of scrimmage. We've got about 30 seconds left, fans, and it'll be all over. Cougars prepared themselves, though. They don't want to give up any more scores. They keep it on the ground. And in on the stop for the Cougars is Sidney Lamoud, number 31. Joe Frame on the carry for the Cougars, affectionately called Night Train Frame. And we've got 1 second left, and that's the old ball game, fans. So the Mater Dei Monarchs come in here from Santa Ana, California, and they're going to lead with a 31-7 victory, Dan. They're going to raise their overall record to 3-0. The Cougars are going to drop to 2-1. The Cougars gave it a spirited effort, and by the scoreboard, certainly a better effort than what last year turned out to be. And again, you got to mention, you can't talk about this game without putting it in some sort of context of saying that 14 points came off of second half turnovers. You're looking at a 17-7 ball game otherwise, which is a whole different thing. And in fact, the Cougars were on the move a couple of times when they incurred those turnovers, and that sort of turned the game.
That was the backbreaker. The turnovers here in the second half, I think, not only took a little starch out of the defense, unfortunately, when those scores occurred, but even the offense. Again, both of those came on interceptions. One of them led to a score very quickly. It was occurred down by the goal line, or actually close to the goal line. And then that last one, the return by Braga, the interception return for a touchdown, took a little of the steam out of the Cougars. But prior to that, it was I thought they played a very, very outstanding game.
The Cougars go back to the drawing board. They put the preseason behind them now. They get ready to open Bay League competition.
Yep.
Again, let us not forget now the Cougars are still the number 1 ranked team in the South Bay, considered to be the class of the South Bay this year, even above the Peninsula Panthers by all sporting reports. So I think you're going to see some very good football, fans, over the next 7 or 8 weeks and on through the playoffs. You know we'll be here with you at Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Tonight, though, it wasn't to be their way. They hoped to sneak in an upset. It didn't work because they played, quite frankly, a very, very good football team. But you got to commend them for the effort. And I want to give the crowd a hand tonight, Dan. I mean, you had a great crowd that came out. They knew they were playing a good program. They stayed to the very end. They cheered the team on. You didn't see any of those Dodger-type fans come in at 3rd and leave at the 7th. These folks were here an hour and a half before the game, and they're still here. They know their team gave it their all. There was no quit in the team, and there certainly was no quit in the crowd tonight, and they deserve a hand as well.
Well, you've seen these games for a number of years. You've called these games, but and you know the Cougar fans have always stuck with their team. They stick with them through thick and thin. Again, They always see a great effort that's put forth by the Cougars. Again, the crowd was good. Crowd stayed with them. As you say, Mater Dei was a great team. They had a lot of ball players. Good effort tonight. Now we hit the Bay League.
Final score, Mater Dei 31, Hawthorne Cougars 7. For Dan Simeon, I'm Rufus Washington, along with the rest of the crew here at Channel 60 Sports, saying thank you for joining us, and we hope you'll join us next week as the Cougars take on North Torrance High School right here on Lawndale's Community Cable Channel 60. Good night.